We've all heard of beer canned chicken and beer battered fish, but Christopher Brugman, executive sous chef at Mountain Shadows Resort, is shaking it up with 3 unusual beer recipes. First up, beer cheddar cornbread. How did you decide what beer goes in this one?
This is probably my favorite beer. This is a Lagunitas India Pale Ale. It's lighter, it's not super dark, but it's got a lot of really deep flavor profiles. For me, I thought that would play really well with the cornbread.
First, mix your wet ingredients, eggs, butter, milk, sour cream, and beer. Then mix the dry ones in a separate bowl. And there's a good reason for this.
It'll allow it for not to get too clumpy, and you don't want to deflate this.
Add bacon, top with cheddar, and pop it in the oven.
It's got a lot of flavor, and then can't forget the bacon, right?
Right.
I mean, the bacon's the key.
Next level.
It's always good with bacon.
Next up, spicy beer shrimp.
We're going to start with a little of the blended oil.
Next, saute your onions, then add some salt to the mix.
You want to try this? Grab a little bit. Just give it a little toss. Perfect.
Then add a spicy Asian dressing called sambal, tomato paste, and beer. For this recipe, we're using a grapefruit-flavored beer.
So I thought this would pair really well with the shrimp. We have a lot of heat, and so I thought to offset that, we'll use a little bit something with a little bit of citrus notes to it. It's going to want to get everything nice and combined. The beer is going to start to foam up a little bit. It's going to start to cook off. All that alcohol is going to evaporate, and you're going to be left with all this really, really beautiful flavor.
Then just cook your shrimp for 3 minutes on each side.
There's a depth of flavor in there that's really, really big and bold, but it's also easy to make too.
And the final and most unusual dish, biramisu. Instead of dipping your wafers in espresso, you dip them in beer. The full biramisu recipe is on our website now, but just note it takes 24 hours to complete because the custard needs to be refrigerated overnight.
And if you can't get far, like I probably would, you can just keep dipping these and eating them.
Just dip them and eat it,
and that can be dessert too.
And then you got your beer, and then just, you know what? Forget the tiramisu.
But if you can brave the kitchen, it's well worth it. Bizarre twist on your brew.
The best shrimp I've ever had.
It's good, right?
On the Lowdown.